Hey everybody, this is my 2022 haunt season wrap-up video. You probably read the title. This was going to be a live stream, but because I'm still moving in and because I haven't live streamed from my apartment in a long time and other boring things, it just didn't work out. I ran out of time. I hope you like the set. I kind of was hoping it would look better than this. Yeah, it works. So I'm going to go through all 10 haunts that I went to this year in Fun Spot, which is the most I've ever gone through. And that record, if it's a record, I don't know, is going to be broken next year because I missed a few this year. Plus, I'm planning to go to California, as I've mentioned a million times. And you might be thinking, well, why aren't you wearing your new shirt you just had made with your merchandise? And the reason for that is it's a black shirt. It's a black background. It would just kind of blend in. So I bought this 50% off at Spirit Halloween last day. Moving on, we're going to start with the haunts, and why not start with Halloween Horror Nights? Sorry for being a loser and using a map. But of course, Halloween Horror Nights is the one I went to the most this year. Horror Nights 31 or 2022. And I'm just gonna go in order. So Hellblock Horror was heavily speculated to have been another IP, but of course Universal didn't confirm this, but we're pretty sure it was going to be Evil Dead. We'll never really know. In my opinion, this was a weird house. I mean, it was a prison, but it didn't look like a prison on Earth. It was more like an alien prison, but there were humans and monsters, and what was going on, I don't know. I went through this house twice. Now, I didn't really keep a running total like some people did. I don't know, I just didn't bother. So some of these I can remember, some of these are approximate. So 2 times I went through everything on team member preview night, and the only reason I went through this again was because of the Soundstage 18, or what used to be the Blue Band Group Courtyard. That Stay and Scream let into Hellblock Horror and then out into New York. So that's why I went the second time. I wouldn't say it's the worst house of the year, but I mean, I know the scare actors did their best and were awesome and everything. It's just, second one is Fiesta de Chupacabras. No. This was awesome. I really enjoyed this. I think this is my second favorite house of the year. There's a lot of small rooms with a lot of little detail or areas of it, which I thought were pretty cool. There's some smells in there. Really, really fun house. Really detailed, really well decorated. I guess that's all I'm gonna say for that. It is close to my favorite house in more than one way, but it wasn't my favorite. But I did really, really enjoy it. I think I went through 4 times. Not sure, at least 4 times. We'll go with that. Next one, I am not going down the list in order of letters, but we're here already. So, Bugs Eaten Alive. They go across, not down. Look at that. I went through that house 3 times. For some reason, the last night I had access, I went through it again. To me, it was a weird concept. House of the future, retro House of the future, with this thing on the wall which does all kinds of things that one appliance wouldn't normally do, including exterminating bugs. I kind of like the scare in the beginning. I don't know if it was really a scare, but the scene in the beginning with the woman showing off the new device, and then of course it goes horribly wrong, and at first she's like, hey, it's okay, just a little bit of fog, no problem. And she starts screaming. There was a bug that was straight up humping a guy on the bed, on the kitchen counter. They would probably say they were eating, that the bug was eating the man. I tend to disagree with that. I'm sure I'm wrong. But overall, the house, of course there are bugs everywhere. detail level was pretty good. I listened to the podcast, which wasn't really a podcast. It was more like I would consider it an audiobook, to be honest, which explains the backstory a little bit, but still, I probably should have put my listing together so I can read it off. I would say Bugs is kind of low on the list. Sorry. Next one is Spirits of the Coven, which for some reason was in the area where the house that has the queue that goes through Music Plaza, which is usually the most popular house, at least in the past it has been. And I don't know how popular it was. It was all right. It was in the 1920s, again, because it's the 2020s. I didn't really care much for it. The scenic was nice, the scares were good, but not really my thing this year. Can't talk about Horror Nights and not talk about Dead Man's Pier. Holy I remember walking through that on preview night. I wasn't one of the people who was really impressed by the scare zone. It was all right. Its costumes were cool. It was cool. So I was like, this is gonna be, it's gonna be all right. I'm not sure if I'm gonna care about this, but woo! While I went through that house on preview night, I walked to the front, to the first scene, and was like, this is amazing. Wow. There's no way they can keep this up, the entire house. It's probably, all the budget was probably spent in the beginning of the house. And of course you walk through the rest of the house and the maze balls level doesn't drop until you get to the exit. Full lighthouse, I mean, you probably have heard all about it or walked through it yourself if you are watching this and you went to the event. Either way, thanks for watching. Amazing. The guy in the zip line, or the character in the zip line was pretty awesome. The full-size ship, and then the shipyard you walk through. Of course, the one thing that kind of sucked was there was no water under the boats. I would blame Mecca because they had water for preview and they had like a tarp that was like not really well placed in there, and then apparently it leaked all over the place. And they're like, hey, we can fix this or we can just give up. Descendants of Destruction. Now, this is something I thought was going to be one of my favorite houses, just based on the description. I thought this sounds really cool. Subway, you got, it was all right. Set design was pretty amazing. You walk through a full-size, if you haven't got subway car, almost accurate, didn't smell like urine, so don't know how accurate it was. But then that looked realistic. The other subway cars that were kind of going up towards the ceiling, and I just covered my face, looked very fake, but full scale and pretty awesome, especially because I'm gonna go this way this time. They went up, like I said, towards the top of the tent in an area where I don't know how many people actually stopped and looked up there, but that was pretty cool. The concept, I guess, is pretty cool. I don't know, for some reason, it was all right. Didn't love it, but again, the scares were great. The set design was great, really awesome. It just overall kind of lower on my list of houses, just because, there's great and amazing. This was not my favorite. The Weeknd. So I don't, here's where people are gonna leave a dislike. I don't like his music. Sorry. I don't like music from the 80s, and to me, the music sounds kind of 80s. Sorry, just don't like it. But the house was super gory. Scenic looked really nice. There were various rooms and various states. I haven't really watched his music videos very much, so probably would appreciate it more if I had watched that. But the scares were really good. The subway train, I saw that on preview night. I was walking towards it. I saw it coming, I knew it was gonna happen, and yet it still gave me a good startle. Now I don't get scared and go, ah, and run, or I just don't. I mean, you know, it's okay. It's okay if you do. I don't. But I do get startled sometimes, and for some reason, that subway got me, and I don't know why, because I saw it coming and I knew it was coming. Pretty cool scare though. Overall, the queue, I feel like they could have done a little bit more with the concert lighting on the outside. Some of the instruments they had looked like they were way bigger than they needed to be, but whatever. But still pretty cool. Fog, of course, the music playing and all that. This will be a 3-hour video if I go into too much detail. So next one is, even though I got the sign up here, also, I won this at the Scare Actor rap party, even though I applied, or I auditioned and didn't get Scare Actor. I do know a Scare Actor, and I'm his +1 every year. So thought, well, it's appropriate, very appropriate, because the weekend, the Halloween obviously was part of the event, and is a cool picture. However, I went through that house once. Oh, the Weeknd I think was 5 times, maybe 6 times, for various reasons. But went through for preview, went through another night, met up with someone else who wanted to go through it again. So this one, Halloween, I went through once. And what I remember most about that house was, oh, look at all the blank walls. Great. Wow. Oh, also, some of the Michaels were like my height. I'm like, what? I thought Michael Myers was supposed to be, one of the things that makes him scary is that he's tall, unlike me. But Horrors of Blumhouse. Once again, a Blumhouse house. How much house could a Blumhouse house if a Blumhouse could? I screwed that up. How much house could a Blumhouse house if a Blumhouse could house? Probably should have cut that out. Why didn't I cut that out? So I haven't seen either one of these movies, but my initial impression and I think I went through 3 times maybe. Walked through Freaky. Oh, first I was like, I'm walking into the Fast and Furious queue on purpose. This is a little weird. I know I'm not going on the ride, but it's like, ugh. So Freaky, not a bad house or sub-house. It was cool. I just didn't love it for whatever reason, but it was really cool. I did like the different scenes, the scares and things like that. But when I walked out of that part to the tent, I wonder if it's because the tent was not part of the Fast and Furious building. Probably not. But when I walked out of the indoor area to the tent, which really had nothing to do with it, just happened to be the layout, and then went into the black phone. The black phone, for whatever reason, I enjoyed the black phone a lot more than Freaky. I do feel like they should have a crossover movie before we completely go away from Freaky. There should be a crossover movie with Friday the 13th and Freaky, because Freaky, I'm guessing, is sort of a parody of Freaky Friday. So, Freaky Friday the 13th. No? All right. Fine. But yeah, Black Phone was really awesome. I never got the courage to pick up one of the phones to see if it actually worked, because you shouldn't do that. So I didn't. I don't know if there were any guest activated triggers. Leave a comment if you know of any that I missed. It just seems like a really good place to have one. It would have been cool if they had, even then there's probably just too many people at Horror Nights, if they had a Black Phone scare zone, and just like the phone in London waterfront for the Ministry of Magic. If you can pick up the phone and hear the voices, that'd be pretty cool. But that would be a terrible idea in a Horror Nights house because, you know, lines. So, yeah, wrapping that up, really enjoyed the Black Phone. Freaky was good, for some reason, I just didn't like it as much, I don't know. The final one, which is Universal Monsters Legends Collide. We've had a bunch of these classic monsters, classic monster houses, and they consider them external IP, even though they're Universal Monsters and it's a Universal park. I think I've gotten to the point where I believe the reason is they treat it as an external IP is not external to Universal, but external to the event. In other words, these characters were not invented specifically for Halloween Horror Nights, I think. If that's not why, I don't know why it's not considered an internal IP. But it was reimagined by Universal Creative, but it wasn't started like Descendants of Destruction. But we've had several houses with those characters. This is the first one I've actually enjoyed. The set design was really amazing. Kept feeling like I was about to walk into the queue or load platform for Revenge of the Mummy. But a lot of great scenes. Every time I walked by the feet from what's supposed to be a giant statue, I'm such a loser. But yeah, it was just really enjoyable. Scares were good. For some reason, I thought the house was kind of short on my first walkthrough, but it was a really long house. And then for some reason, when I walked through a few other times, I think I went through 4 or 5 times, it felt longer, which is weird because it was the same size house. I don't know. All right, scare zones. First, Horrors of Halloween, which is that one in front of the park that it's like, yeah. Orange Grinch. I mean, the setup was cool. The actor did as much as he could. Almost won Scare Actor of the Year too. But it's a trigger-based thing. He didn't have a mic. All he can do was mime the triggers, and then between them, just. I mean, they're really limited what he can do. If it was a live mic like Chucky, I think it would have been a lot cooler, but it wasn't. So, Sweet Revenge, what a great scare zone. I could easily see this being the scare zone of the year. It wasn't, but I love the character interaction. That was what I loved about Vamp 55 and why I was really excited to see Vamp 85, but I don't think they did it as well. When you can interact with the characters and they can interact with you in character instead of just walking around, I think that makes the scare zone so much better. There's a little bit of a tie-in with the tribute store, but not as direct as I thought it would be. But the characters are great, the little scares they did, the scenes, with the mayor giving the mayor's, Major Sweets giving the mayor's kid a candy bar, and then the mayor's kid murders the mayor, which is pretty. But the sets, like the little areas where it had like the heads on the stick, and of course the floats. Why am I getting to that close sooner? The floats were made by the same company that makes the Mardi Gras floats, Kern Studios. I think I'm going to see them next week at IAPA. So I'd be like, obviously, we'll love to go over there and sell them. Man, those floats are amazing. I'm almost 100% certain that they were reused because there's some lighting effects, and there's like a moving platform that wasn't moving, and a few other things that required power. They didn't have power. But because we don't have a daytime parade, the floats can stay out all the time. But man, those are awesome. I love the pumpkin stacks. Never did go back and do another rescan of it for 3D, but I'm getting off the point. But the interactions were great. The characters are great. You saw the kid from the Trick or Treat Scare Zone again. Conjure the Dark over in the San Francisco area. Loved, the music was great. There were some strange things about it, like I think there's like a harmonica and heavy metal. But the costumes were awesome. The demons were tall and just had great presence and were kind of intimidating, and just really loved these characters in the Scare Zone. The witch who was on the stage, who would hit the trigger every once in a while and do various shows. That was pretty cool. But I noticed over time she got even better. The actors, the scare actors, got better and better at miming the recording. Some people think that they don't like that Horror Nights has triggers, but I don't have a problem with that. But that was a pretty cool Scare Zone. I did enjoy that. Scarecrow, Cursed Soil. I love the house, as a lot of people did. The house is amazing. Scare Zone, pretty good. Loved the Barn Spooktacular. I'm going to continue to call it the Barn Spooktacular, even if nobody else is. It was a pretty cool scare zone, but like I said, I don't feel like it lived up to the house. But you get the banjo music playing. Various boo holes were pretty cool. And yeah, I enjoyed it. The lighting was awesome. And not my favorite Scare Zone. I would say it was probably Sweet Revenge. Although, Graveyard Deadly Unrest, which is the graveyard which has 0 tombstones. Ironically, there was a thunderstorm, a fake thunderstorm in the Scare Zone, and it's Florida, so it wasn't running a lot of times because of a real thunderstorm. Oh, I forgot to mention, Sweet Revenge has fake corn in it, including fake corn ears. Thank you for the hurricane, Universal. You had just recently said that we don't do corn anymore because of hurricanes. Well, apparently fake corn also brings the hurricanes. Back to the graveyard. That was pretty cool too. The character that was on that float in the middle that would have the recording every once in a while, the trigger, I mean, I feel like it was just like kind of Orange Grinch. The guy kind of just stood there, not really doing anything, and then he just recited stuff. Nothing against the scare actor. It's what they told him to do, and he was very limited, I think, limited in interactions. He just stood up on that platform from what I saw. Maybe I just didn't stay in the Scare Zone very much. Not on the map. Chainsaws are back. Awesome. I wish they hung out in... I shouldn't probably be going over Horror Nights as much because I don't have time. I don't want to make this a forever video because I can't... It's a lot of detail for this, but anyway, we're going through it. So, love to see the Chainsaws back in Springfield every once in a while. I wish they stayed there. For some reason, they didn't have the lighting in Springfield like they normally do. But, oh man, I was so glad to see. And one of the scare actors hung out at the end of the bridge. We call it the Portofino Bridge. I don't know if that's the official name. The bridge going into Springfield, in that one spot where they always hide, and it always works. Every time. Jump out scare. Guaranteed. To the shows. Nightmare Fuel. Whatever. So, Ghoulish. I kind of wanted to really like this show, but the first year they had the Lagoon show was so amazing. It's very hard to compete, even if the show was as good. Of course, we lost the show part of the way through the run, so that ended that. It had a storyline, but it kind of didn't. I feel like the Weeknd was just really crammed in there, had very little to do with the storyline, in my opinion, but pretty cool though. It was enjoyable. I don't know if they've done one that was as good as the original. So overall, the event was great. I went to it a lot of times in September. Wish I knew I couldn't go in October with my ID except for 2 nights. And that kind of wraps that up because I'm spending too much time on it. Now, here's the exact opposite. I've tried to put a little bit of everything I'm talking about in the background. I do have a couple of things, well, mostly a insulated cup from Scary Train that is somewhere. Like I said, I'm unpacking still from moving. But now we're going to go to the shortest review, which is why the 2x4 is there. If you watched my video.
Meet Santa Claus?
No, not in October.
You don't want to meet Santa Claus?
No, but I see you got wood.
We're doing Santa Claus!
Ah! Did Santa give you...
Appropriate joke, sir. This event is ages 6 and up.
You'll know why. There's a 2x4 back there. My favorite scare actor from that, which is Scream and Stream. I should probably, mention that. So Scream and Stream is the next one to be reviewed. Again, the 2x4. My favorite scare actor from that haunt. This guy's following me around. If you can't tell I'm being sarcastic, I just told you. So this is this 3rd year. I went for the first year with Brett for the media preview. Went back again for their Christmas thing. Last year, for some reason, I didn't get invited to the media preview and I just didn't make it out there. I did talk to the owner and he had me on the media list still, so I don't know why I didn't get an email. But it was at the Florida Mall this year, which is a lot closer. The first year was pretty far away. So the media preview was canceled because of the hurricane, and I went to opening night as a guest of Scream and Stream. I have to look because I always get it backwards. Went through the drive-through haunt, tried the deprivation, and just basically the whole lobby with the Fog Queen. And so yeah, it happened. I was there, it happened, I recorded it. Might as well just go on my in order of my graphic here, which is also acting as my notes. Tales of Terror. That is one of the newest haunts in Orlando. It was a home haunt. This was amazing, very, very enjoyable. It's not even 20 minutes from Universal down Kirkman. So if you are in the Universal Orlando Resort area, you can get to it very quickly. There's free parking, which is nice, which is most things except for, theme parks. This was at a paintball field converted into a house. This was the first year with a house. I heard about it because of Johnny and Hauntsing. This was really, really awesome. I went through a bunch of times. There's an upgrade you can get if you can go next year, or you can go to their haunts. They're gonna do a Christmas one and then maybe Valentine's Day one. I don't know if they're gonna do the fear necklace for any of the other ones, but if you can get to this haunt, definitely go and definitely get the fear necklace upgrade where they can touch you. It was so worth it. So I actually made some friends with the people working in the first year, so that was pretty cool. I got to see them at other haunts. That happened as well with, I guess this would be the last on the list, Petrified Forest, which is also my first year going there. I think it was their 15th year, but they had a food truck, or some food trucks that kind of rotated out, a haunt market with vendors that were different every night. But the actors were great. It's amazing that it was built, the whole haunt was built by just a few people. They had a really cool ending at the end of the haunt. When I went through with the fear necklace, or Touch Me necklace. I don't know if they have, I forget if they have a name, but I just don't remember. Man, I was getting grabbed from places I didn't even know there were people there. That was awesome. I went through the very first time without the necklace. It was great, but the necklace upgrade, so worth it. And it's a haunt that's going to keep building and building. And I kind of like, later on the list, the Sir Henry's Haunted Trail on Petrified Forest. At some point, it's going to be at its own dedicated location, but for now, it's at a paintball field. There was also Jelly Ball, which I never heard of before, but it's basically like paintball, but it's not supposed to hurt as much. I didn't end up trying that, but I think that's about all I can say about Tales of Terror. Really, really good haunt. Good price, great location. Looking forward to going to it again. The Haunted Road. Okay, so this is their third year of that. I didn't make it out the first year. I was supposed to be on the media list. Things happened. I didn't make it out there. Went last year. Was really cool. Actually did an interview with their creative director. I think it was the title, her title. So that was really awesome. And this year they had some problem with rain. So I went to the media preview and the actual Haunted Road was not available. So we saw the afterlife party. We saw like a scene that was set up that was in the drive-through experience. And we actually got to walk out to another scene, which is pretty cool. There was a VIP ghost hunting thing that I was trying to get to, but yeah, in the rain. I wish they could pave the road, but I know it's easy to say, but expensive to do. But I was hoping to do the ghost hunting thing, but I never did. The barn was an interesting upgrade. It was just a walk-in and experience thing last year. This was, like, they had some walls up that you walked around, so it was a bit like a house or a trail, but not really. And then there was the scene where you walk into the room and stuff happens around you. That was pretty cool as well. So I came back to the Haunted Road a second time, and some of the scenes didn't happen. One of the scenes didn't happen because, unfortunately, there was an injury. I don't know if it was serious or not. But last year, there were actors everywhere surrounding the car. So I'm like, ooh, I'm going to put my 360 camera on top. But most of it was on the passenger side. And unfortunately, I should have requested to be back in the middle or the back of the line of vehicles because if this is out of focus, I'm gonna be so mad. Because all the scares happened behind me, and so I kind of missed out on it, especially as a driver. So kind of a bummer, but still, maybe better than another haunt. But apparently they were really short on scare actors this year. I don't know. Horror Nights not everybody. Horror Nights can't cast everybody because so many people are auditioning and they were short. Although it's a little bit different because, it's a theme park, so people who audition, more like myself, already work there. So, the Haunted Road is only once a year. So I don't know. Whatever reason, I heard that they were really short-staffed, which unfortunately kind of cut into the experience. But from my understanding, they were doing everything they possibly could to get enough scare actors. So, they got to give them some credit for that. But I'm definitely going to go back next year. They had some issues, but it was still enjoyable. Seaworld Spooktacular, which, get right here. The first time I went, I think there was a thunderstorm, because it's Florida, and it was pretty cool. Unfortunately, a little bit of a tangent, because of all my dental work, there's like a long list of candies that I can't eat anymore. Turns out gummies are really bad for your teeth. I know it's sugar, it's candy, but apparently it sticks to your teeth and it doesn't come off easily. So that's why I have so much dental work. So I got crowns and stuff. Basically what I'm saying is there's only a few things I can get at this spooktacular, but it was really awesome. The characters are great. I love the fact that you can go through as an adult and trick or treat, ask for candy, they don't care. You have a bag, you want candy, you get candy. Doesn't work so well at trick or treat sometimes. And other places they're like, oh, you're an adult, oh, you can't trick or treat, you're an adult. You come there in a costume or not a costume, if you're there to have a good time, if you're there to ask for candy, they'll give you candy. They don't judge. I guess there's maybe where I'm going. I don't know where I was going with that. But the point is, there's a lot of characters around. There's a dance party. There's a story time area. Obviously, it's meant for kids, but everybody can enjoy it. Which leads to their nighttime thing, which is Howl-O-Scream. As you can see, the blown out blinky. I call it. So this is one of the new pieces of merchandise this year for the Howl-O-Scream in Orlando, and it shoots. I don't know if it's, I really would call it fog. It's like fog. I think it's like more like a mist from its eyes. This one already has one eye that doesn't work, but I don't know. So this year I finally had media access to the event, and this is one of our media gifts, which is pretty cool. And so I walked around with that, and it is interactive, which is pretty cool. Also, just was able to go through and shoot the houses, which I guess I kind of did last year as well. But some people were disappointed this year because I don't know, I didn't pay attention. I thought it was awesome. The houses, yes, a lot of the houses repeated, but that's what they do. But they updated some, they added one. The scare zones, they were kind of all over the place. Scare zones were really nice, the actors were really cool. I know I'm not going to spend as much time as I did on Halloween Horror Nights as I probably should. But I went this year multiple times because I had the unlimited pass, which is only $99. I mean, that's a really good deal. You can't even get into one night of Horror Nights for that amount of money. And that was without any discounts. I don't believe I had a Florida discount, Florida resident discount. If anything, that would be the most, that would be the only discount I had. Monster Stomp was back. It was the same exact show, but it was a really awesome show, so I really enjoyed it. There's a new show, which was the Lost Souls Hideaway, I believe. It's a drag show, which for a moment, I was like, for a first moment, I was like, drag show at a Halloween? I was like, all right, what's Halloween? Dressing up and having fun. So yeah, it totally makes sense. And it was a really enjoyable show. I watched it a few times, saw two different actors playing the main character, the same guy playing the guy who stands there and does nothing. Wasn't impressed by that guy. I know he's just supposed to be her toy, but I feel like he could have done better. Overall though, it was an upcharge, but I was able to get in for free because of media access. I think it would be worth the $10. I don't know if the drinks were discounted because it's a upcharge. I should have put my drink cup up, whatever. I got my drink, my non-alcoholic drink, because I don't like alcohol. There's another show next to it. It was supposed to be funny. I didn't really like it that much. There was also some themed bars, like the Poisoned Grotto, I believe. Why I don't have a list in front of me, I don't know. That's cool. It reminds me of Scare Actor dining experience a little bit because there's Scare Actors walking around. There's a quick serve restaurant in there. but you don't have to pay for that separately, which is really great. You just walk in, you don't have to buy anything. There's a aerial performer, it's probably not what it's called, performing. It's pretty cool. There's also that one bar near the exit that has some girls dancing. I don't know why, every time I go in there, there's nobody in there. They're like really trying their best, and it's great, but there's nobody in there. There's also a couple other bars that I don't think I ever got to, but and then there is the other. I don't know why I moved them from the shows. The Sirens. The 360 show they had last year, they have that back again. That was pretty cool. They made one little alteration to it, which is that the couple that's super obvious that they are part of the show, they pull them up. They have the one siren like dancing for the guy, and he's just like, yeah, look at me. I'm the hot, like she stands for me. You know, total ego turn on, whatever, because he's being seduced. And then the girlfriend is trying to get to him, like, oh, what are you doing? These are sirens, you gotta go away from them. And then a male siren starts, I don't know if it's a siren, I don't know, starts dancing for her, and she suddenly snaps into it and is like, oh, hey. They then seduce her to kill her boyfriend, husband, the man she was there with. Last year, she snapped out of it and then screamed like, what did I just do? How did this even happen? And then they went over the stage. They skipped that part this year. It's a long way of getting to that. Other than that, it was pretty much the same. The returning houses, like Beneath the Ice, was pretty cool. The new, Captain's Revenge was back again. That was really cool. The new house, Blood Beckoning, was also really nice. I think it was the same layout as last year for the most part, but I thought the houses are great. The lines are very short. I think they pulse you. I don't know. I forgot that part. But the thing is, most nights I had the front of line access or quick queue. I don't remember what it's called there. I had it for media preview, and then I was with somebody who had that. But even then, the waits aren't very long. So I am definitely going to be back again to Howl-O-Scream next year in Orlando. So next on the list is Scary Train. Love the event. It's an hour and a half away, so I hate that part. But this year again is awesome. Planned to go twice, ended up going 4 times. Went twice without Brett. Brett was trying to go, but he never was able to. Then he finally was able to, and I went, showed them some of the photos that I took, and then they asked me to come back a 4th time to shoot a video that I still haven't had time to work on, but that is the video from behind the scenes of so obviously there's a train ride on the Scary Train, if you're not familiar with it, and they had a pyro expert coming from Texas every weekend because they had a scene where they blow up an outhouse that had a zombie in it. He's the pyro expert, is a zombie who gets set on fire. So I shot that for them as well, which is pretty cool. So Clown Woods is one of the trails, always awesome. I don't know if it was longer this year, it felt longer, but always chaotic. There's people screaming at you. There's one character who's named Skittles, who just jumps up and down and says how much she loves Skittles. There's the poop lady. I don't know why all these haunts have toilets in them, but they do. who offers you poop, and then, you know, I never think of anything to say to her like, no, I don't want poop. Well, why not? I don't know, because it's poop. Like, but yeah, it's just overall that trail is great. Trailer Park, of course, is back again this year with a rope bridge. It was supposed to be a pirate ship. It's basically you're walking through a bunch of old vehicles, trailers, but also buses and a few other things, and it's just total chaos. There's one trailer that has, last year it was just an old drum set, someone just kind of beating on it. This year they've upgraded to a better drum set. The older drum set was still there and in place, but and then they had some dude playing guitar. So that was pretty awesome. Just a lot of jump scares and things like that, and awesome. It's very long. All the trails are very long, which is really great. They're all volunteers. It's a fundraiser for a nonprofit organization that helps children in need, and they're all volunteers, but they're all as good as any scare actor in any event I've ever gone to. And then there was Possum Holler, which is a reimagined new trail this year, which is also really cool. I believe that was the one that was really dark when you're walking through, and you go, there's a town they built in the middle of the woods that I think they use for other things, but great haunt. There was a trailer at one point that you walk through that's completely dark, so you just have to kind of feel your way through. And again, it's another really long haunt trail, and there's just characters everywhere just giving you their best. Also this year is what they're calling Delancey's Dungeon. It's one of their own who sadly died a few years ago, but had quite the collection of props from, I'm guessing, Spirit Halloween and maybe from some other stores. And you just walk through it and see all the props that this guy collected over the years, and it's a tribute to him. So it's not long, it's not scary, but it is pretty cool, and it's a nice homage. And of course, the scary train itself, Clyde is back for that. You go around the track and listen to his stories. Here, you see the scene with the zombie and the pyro, which is really impressive. And you go past the backside of some of the trails. Some of the actors come out and interact with you, maybe throw some rocks at you, foam rubber rocks, and it's a really great trail. I've never really had time to try the food, but there are various food. There's also retail vendors, like tie-dye shirts, and I somewhere have a washcloth that was custom printed with, I believe it was Possum Holler, or maybe it was Trailer Park. I was going to put it up back here, but like I said, I'm moving. I don't know where I put it. But then there are the roaming characters. They're always great, and the whole thing is very inexpensive. I want to say it's $20. I don't remember exactly, but very inexpensive. The only thing that sucks is the drive, but that's just because where I live. Next up is Brick or Treat Monster Party. Now, I really thought that they said that this year's Brick or Treat is going to be bigger than ever. I thought they were going to do something Halloween related in Peppa Pig. I don't believe they did. Unfortunately, they got rid of some of the shows, including the one show that the Groovin' Graveyard, which I really enjoyed, and they replaced it with a 4D movie. But this is always a great event. It's obviously aimed for kids, but adults can enjoy it as well. You can go in costume, and I believe you can go in full face makeup, which you can't do at Universal. Most of the candy stations, the model citizens, will let you have candy. You just bring a bag, looks like this. But there are a couple of model citizens, if you come up as an adult, will give you attitude, which is not cool. But overall, it's really awesome. They have Miniland, which if you're not familiar with LegoLand, there is a area where they built these models of different cities. They always put the little characters dressed in Halloween costumes, and they basically theme it out for Halloween, which is pretty cool. Then there is the candy trail. There used to be an actual trail, but now it's just candy stations around, like I said. There's also some scavenger hunts, which are pretty cool. I didn't get to try some of the food. I wanted to try the ice cream that was specifically for the event. I only got to LegoLand one time this year for Brick or Treat, and their machine was down that day, so unfortunately I didn't get to try that. There are roaming characters that are also really awesome to interact with. There's a really cool show they started last year, Time to Learn About Halloween. It's meant for preschoolers, but if you go in there remembering it's meant for preschoolers, you can enjoy it. I enjoyed it. There's also a new show where at the Fun Town Theater. No, that's the movie. I forget. I'm blanking on the name of the theater, but where they attempt to sing. But and then I think there's one other show, but really enjoyed Brick or Treat again this year. Next is Sir Henry's Haunted Trail, which is the first year I've ever gone to that event. Went twice. Did not get invited to the media preview. Hopefully in the future, maybe. I just didn't have enough subscribers, unfortunately. So I bought a ticket. First time, I didn't buy the front of line access, but luckily I was able to get through everything anyway. And so there are 3 trails and laser tag, which unfortunately I didn't end up doing, and also escape rooms. There's also axe throwing that I was like, not really sure I want that. Also food vendors, they have snow cone or shaved ice, snowball I think is what they call it, a vendor which is local, and also their own food. So there's a main area with a barn they set up, which is really awesome. Some roaming characters. Really enjoyed the event. So I'm forgetting the name of so the first house I went through, I kind of went through them in order. It's a nice long trail, some really cool animatronics in there, some boats, no water again, really good scares, and just really enjoyed going through there. Unfortunately, don't have any video of it because I didn't go to the media preview, but the second one was the final cut, which was all based on a movie, of course. I believe the story was, it was an actress who struggled in Hollywood, and you're now in the mansion where she used to live, and a statue comes to life. But it's pretty cool. It's all themed on movies, of course. The scares are based on that. Have you seen the final cut? There's a screen you walk through with a theater set up, and some bodies. We've seen that before in Horror Nights, and it's a really cool trail. I really enjoyed that. There was, I believe that was the one with laundry. For some reason there were several haunts this year where you walk through laundry. I don't know why, but and then it was Headless, which I believe was a brand new ground up trail this year, which was included at certain times a horse with the Headless Horseman on it, like an actual horse. and it had centered around a town, which is pretty cool. You kind of walked around it, you saw this town a few times. Really impressive build, good scares again, and as you would assume, horse-themed things. Why am I remembering as much of it? And it was the last thing I did too. But overall, really cool event. Gonna go back next year, of course. And it wasn't as far as going to Kirby Family Farm, but it was still a bit of a drive. Haunt season ended up being a lot of driving. I haven't really done that a lot lately. So, and the final one is a Petrified Forest, which is another event that I've been trying to get to for several years. I was sending them media requests, never heard back from them until this year. Finally, I got to the social media preview, and I realized this is an event that I should have been going to anyway. Went there 2 times this year. They also have 3 trails that the whole theme is Mother Nature. So really enjoyed those trails as well. They had some food. It still didn't really get to try the food. The first night I was there, I got there late. By the time I was done, the food vendors were shut down. The second time I went, it was after a thunderstorm, and some of the food vendors shut down for the night. But it's a really interesting system they have where you have a certain number or certain color. It's kind of like Races in New York at Universal. And they have these wheels that spin around, and you can go in when your color is called. So if you don't have the upgraded, I don't think they call it Fast Pass there, but maybe they do. I'm forgetting. But if you don't have that, you have to wait in a line for the first trail. But then you can go through that trail, the shorter line for the other 2, which is interesting. They also had a DJ, which is pretty cool, playing some music, which I was worried would get content ID claims. But luckily it didn't. They also had laser tag. I also didn't get to do that. There's sort of like a behind the scenes tour. I didn't get to do any of that. But the various trails, there's one. The one trail had this really cool bridge you walked over. A lot of really cool lighting effects with fog, and a lot of really good scares with the scare actors, and like I said, projections. And so the one was like an alien invasion. So there was all this different tech and aliens chasing after you. Someone would follow you for a while. That was pretty cool. Another haunt this year with corn. I'm not sure, but I think the corn was actually real. So, I believe one of those was a haunt where you walk through someone's laundry. Saw that at Tales of Terror as well. And of course, if I remember correctly, I think there was also a bathroom scene, which keeps coming up in these haunts. I don't know why. But again, overall, really awesome. There was also a nautical themed one. I walked through the first room on social media preview with my large camera bag, kind of took down one of their nets that they hung up in the first room. But the character helped me, because I actually got stuck. Scare actor helped me get unstuck without breaking character. He said he said something like, the really scary thing is what attaches to your soul. I forget what, I'll have to look back at it. But like I said, never broke character. I didn't know that I could have a video light when I walked through the houses or the trails. So it was kind of dark, but it also made it easier to see walking through. There's one of the scare actors came behind me, was like, "I'm ready for my close-up." And as I was walking away, she said, "I love you." I was like, okay, I don't know what happened there, but that was interesting, I guess. And that is all the haunts. I also went to Fun Spot. The Halloween part for Fun Spot is not so huge. I went to the Kissimmee one. I was going to go to the Orlando one, and after the Kissimmee one was disappointing, I was like, whatever. I did not do, if you probably noticed, I didn't bother going to do my usual spooky drive with Dave because those videos don't do all that well. I did go to Spirit Halloween a couple times. I don't know, I just never got to it. I do want to do next year a version of the spooky drive, but go to the local stores for Halloween and more local events, because the thing is, like, it's cool, and sometimes they do kind of well. It's cool to go to Target and see what's over there, and go to Home Depot and go to Spirit Halloween. And Spirit Halloween is a little bit different because every store is going to be a little bit different, but most of you have those stores at least near you, so it's not unique to Orlando, and that's kind of my thing on this channel. So I just didn't bother this year. But I hope you like this ranty, unscripted review of haunt season. Again, I went to officially 10 haunted events. I didn't get to Gatorland. I wanted to do that, but it just never really worked out. I was going to go to the Crayola experience. I emailed them, and they never got back to me. Undead in the Water is something I might want to do in the future. I'm not sure about Screamageddon. I heard stories. Don't know if they're true. Like I said, I only got to Brick or Treat once this year. I hate to say it was a little disappointing, but it was a little disappointing. Not sure about Scream and Stream next year, but everything else I'm going to go to. And of course, if I haven't told you 100 million times, I'm also planning to go to California next year, which is why I have my my spooky haunt season shirt this year, which didn't come out as well as I'd hoped it would, but it was a start. I did talk to a graphic designer who, when I showed her the shirt, she's like, I got you. So I'm going to be working with her at some point in the future, I hope, to make a much better bit of merchandise for next year. All of that money is, of course, going to the trip for California next year. All of the money that I get from ad revenue, basically all the money from this channel is going to that. Also, in the description of every video, I have my Amazon link. So if you want to, when you go to shop at Amazon, if you just follow the link, and it doesn't matter, you don't have to buy the thing that the link is for. Also helps them with the trip. Enough about that. But again, I was starting to add up everything. I think it's 10 haunts, but I think it was like 25, not quite 30 individual, spread out through all of them, times visiting. Like I said, Scream and Stream once, Tales of Terror, I think 3 or 4 times, Haunted Road twice, Seaworld Spooktacular twice. That's a bit of a cheat because I was there for Howl-O-Scream as well. Howl-O-Scream, I believe, was 3 times. Scary Train is 4 times, despite a 3-hour round trip. Brick or Treat once this year, which is unusual for me. Sir Henry's Haunted Trails twice, and Petrified Forest also twice. Horror Nights is kind of a cheat because I work there. So I'm already there anyway. But I hope you like this long-winded video. Thanks for watching this video all the way through, and please exit to the gift shop. And If you're wondering why the middle one's not flickering, I only had 2 of those tea lights, so that's why. Also, I ended up cutting my head off. What's up with that? But thanks for watching.